Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. I'm getting all psyched over here all by myself. You hear me? Hello, Alice and Jocelyn, and welcome everyone. You know what it is today, don't you? It's Wise Women's Wednesday. I got some really juicy stuff for you, and I'm excited to share it. Gosh, if I can find it. There it is. Yeah, good stuff for you. Julie, so glad to have you here. And I'm glad to have all of you here because you know what? We are in the midst of the holidays. Who is getting their holiday on? I haven't even gotten my tree up yet, but that's going to be happening hopefully this afternoon. It is good to be here. And like I said, we are in the midst of the holidays. I know you've got all kinds of things going on. Boy, we had some rain. I don't know about y'all, but you know, I live in a rainforest. So yeah, we got to kind of deal with that. So lots of rain. Linda, hello. Good to have you here. We have a really good quote for you. Boy, this quote this week is good. Do you guys write this stuff down in your journal for real? Cheers, Nancy. Here's my teacup and my empty Pellegrino water. I left everything upstairs, but I'm thinking about you. How's that? Hi, Catherine. Good to have you here. Anyway, here is the deal. Here's the quote. What we are capable of is remarkable, and what we'll attempt is only constrained by our beliefs. Isn't that so good? So my question to you then is, because like I said, put this in your journal. So you ask yourself then, what beliefs are constraining me from living the vibrant life that I really want? That's a really good question. That's a really good one to get under your skin and get things shaken up a little bit. I think I told you there's a new documentary out called Struts, Strutz, on Netflix. I have not watched it yet, so I can't, whatever I've seen is a snippet of it. And the interesting thing about it was that this renowned psychologist, I'm not sure which one he is, said that by journaling, we can do an incredible amount of inner work that we absolutely need to do. And it was interesting because one of the things that he said was you don't have to be freaked out about not being a writer, not having something flowery and wonderful to say, but instead just drop little things in there that's going to stir the pot and make you think, and then write about that. Sometimes it's going to be negative, sometimes it's going to be positive, but the point is that we don't just sit with it and let it ferment. We actually do something with it. And putting it on paper is an amazing exercise for your brain because there is an actual brain-hand connection right here, pincher finger thing. Might as well get that done. What do you think of that? I think it's such a good idea. All right. Anyway, so there's that. I want you to, and if anybody sees that, let me know what you think in the comments if you've already seen it or whatever you think. It's a documentary. It's on Netflix. Stutz, Stutz. That's on my list of things to do. Also, we've got an amazing holiday bundle of goodies. Anything that you can imagine. Cookies to make for a cookie exchange. Dozens and seriously, literally dozens of different cookies and stuff you're not going to see everywhere. Cookies, mailers that you can mail, things that they're not going to get trashed in the mail, gifts that you can give, all kinds of stuff that you can do in your kitchen. So much fun. You can find that at savingdinner.com/show. Now, just to let you know, we're talking about years worth of stuff that's all been put together in one ginormous bundle. $147 worth for just $27. And strong suggestion, get this and have this be a part of your collection because really great holiday stuff in there. Yay! Ellen and Debbie, hello. Carol's here too. Did I miss Carol? How did I miss Carol? Hi, Carol. There she is. Hello. Glad you're here. Also, we have Christmas menus for you. Have you gotten them yet? You should. Go to saveyourdinner.com/Christmas and download away. As a matter of fact, you can share that link with anybody you want to. You know, people love our Christmas menus and all of our holiday menus. They're really great. So that's exciting, 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 exciting. All right. Today we're going to be talking about wise women and how wise women become wise. Because part of becoming is recognizing and realizing that you have stuff in your life that doesn't need to be there anymore. And when we do that, we replace the old stuff with the new stuff is what we do. We replace it with, we don't leave just this humongous vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. We make an exchange. Nancy, I know that you did. Debbie, enjoy those menus. I know you will. So let's go ahead and bring on our little TikTok folks. Boy, this jacket is really very unflattering. Oh well. And here we are. Let's get busy with this, because wise women are women who have recognized and realized that the victim mentality no longer serves them. Dropping the victim mentality is something that for a lot of people goes right underneath the radar, and they don't even recognize or realize that this is something that they're doing. So with that said, I want you to listen to this carefully. And if you need the show notes, you can find the show notes at Saving Dinner and just sign up for our newsletter. And today's show notes will be in tomorrow's newsletter. How's that for fun? It really is. It's a lot of fun. Okay. So here's the thing is with the victimhood deal. The only thing that you need to do with victimhood is when you understand it, when you see it, when you look at it, you just need to understand in order to have victory over it, you just need to flip it. What can I do instead? Because that's oftentimes what happens in this whole victimhood thing, you know? And it's kind of an undercurrent thing, and it just kind of gobbles up and steals your energy and steals your vibrancy. This is why I wanted to talk about this today. And this is why I think it's just so incredibly important. And I have 11 things for you. So let's go through them. Number one, this is what wise women need to learn to do if they're to dump this victim mentality. Number one is to stop blaming. You know, it's called blame shifting. We shift the blame to someone else. And what that does, it leaves the person doing it powerless, and it also leaves them with no responsibility. Not me. I didn't do it. You know, just look over here. That kind of a thing. Doesn't that remind you of your 3-year-old? You know, isn't that what 3-year-olds do? But here's the thing. You give others the keys to your castle when you do this, right? They get the power. They get the power. And what we have to look at, especially here, is if we are to be these wise women, and if we are to give up this whole victimhood mentality and what have you, then it's on us to remember that the old keys don't open new locks. They don't. They don't open the new doors. And the new door is beyond this whole idea of victimhood. Now, hear me on this because it's really important. Let's do this. Let's stop blaming and just take a look and see, is this something that I need to step up and take responsibility for? You also don't need to take responsibility for everything, right? But is it something you need to take responsibility for? Number two, they believe that life is always working out for them on their behalf. I love that one so much. I told you I learned this from David Bayer taught me this. And he said, he gets up every single morning and says out loud, I believe life is always working out for me on my behalf. And I love this so much. And one of the other things that I say that a lot and write it in my journal. And the other thing that I do is, let's see how great today can be. Show me how great today can be. Because the expectation is then set to not be a victim, but instead to be a victor. And instead to find the vibrancy, and instead to find things that are just sparkly, beautiful, and makes you feel really, really good inside. Your expectation is set on that. It's a whole different level, way, 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 way the heck up here. So, you know, and that doesn't mean that we're ignoring or pretending that the hard times aren't there. We know they're there. We've felt them, right? We've lived them. But it's also knowing and seeing that there's going to be lessons that are learned. There's going to be things to grow from, and that it's not going to define us, but instead we're going to rise above. Amen. Number 3, they believe no one's out to get them. Now, listen, I know you're probably thinking, who says that? You would not believe some of the things that I have heard in all my days doing coaching and sitting, I mean, for over 20 years. But I believe if we start to really look hard for the good in all people, really, and believe them until we shouldn't, then we're going to always be sitting in the right spot. Hear me on this. People will show you who they are by what they do, right? And what they say. Oftentimes what they say, I mean, if you find somebody who just blatantly lies. I had somebody lie to me and said, you said X, Y, and Z. I did not. And I was not about to lie down for this person because they had made this decision that this is what I had said. And I said, emphatically, I did not. I prove it. And I hadn't, and I didn't. And that was kind of a falling out. So, but this person showed me who she was by blatantly lying about me. It happens. And when that happens, it's up to you to not dismiss this type of a behavior, but to learn from it and to move on from it. And in this case, we're not friends anymore. Wise and healthy to remove yourself from a toxic relationship, by the way. So that's huge. And we have to do that for ourselves. But people always show you who they are by what they say and what they do. And especially if there's an incongruency there. And you know what I'm talking about. Number 4, cynicism and pessimism are off the table if you're a wise woman. Do you know why? The world is teeming with it. They don't need another cheerleader. On the contrary, that doesn't serve. Cynicism and pessimism deliver misery every single time. Every single time. So what if we instead stepped up and decided, you know what, that doesn't serve me. I'm just not going to participate in this. Gossip is on this level, this kind of cynicism and pessimism. And just, everything is always half empty, never half full. Number 5 is to realize that if you are a wise woman, you are not a tree, you are not stuck. Trees get planted and stay where they are. You do not. Now, I use this all the time for women to empower them and make them recognize that they do not have to stick with a doctor who isn't going to listen to them, who's not going to be a team player, who's not going to go out of his way or her way to help this person out. I've been there, done that. I can't even tell you how many doctors I've fired. And I'm using this as just kind of an obvious example because we get this notion that we're stuck, that we have to stay with somebody or something that is completely unacceptable. And that is simply not the case. You are not a tree. Move along, because trees can be pretty powerless because they can't move away. They can't move inside when a hurricane comes, for example, unless they're in a pot. But you know exactly what I'm saying. And regardless of the circumstances, whatever it is, there is, according to Diana Nyad, a way. There is a way. And my suggestion is that you find that way, because there's no way that you need to be powerless in your life, ever, especially on my watch. I won't let that happen. I believe in you. I see you. I know what you're capable of. And I will tell you, it's power, a lot of power. So remember this. When you ever feel stuck, just remember, I am not a tree, and look for the way. Amen. Number 6, we all have a tragic and sad story that maybe is a pet one. Anyone? You want to tell your pet story? I've got one. But we use them now to serve us instead of disserve us. Does that make sense? In other words, what we're doing is using it as a placeholder in the experience file for gleaning a lesson that maybe we need to learn. Maybe there's something there that is just a golden nugget of, like what I just said this last time. When people show you who they are, believe them, that kind of a thing. But we don't have to continually hash things out, continually talk to it, give it energy, give it power. That's what we do when we're going through this over and over again. This is why, if any of you have been through counseling, like I have, it's exhausting. It's absolutely, you leave from counseling exhausted. I used to leave, when I did counseling, I used to leave exhausted and crying pretty much the whole time, because I emotionally left everything on the dance floor with my counselor. And that's fine. But there's times to move on too. And that was the biggest thing in the world for me, is that we don't need to be stuck in that place. Again, we are not trees. And number 7, they've lost the blame shame game and have stopped attacking loved ones for how they make them feel. In other words, here's the deal. This is the thing that I find to be so absolutely, this is the big game changer, is how you feel is your choice. How you feel is your choice. They might say something like, I alluded to that situation where somebody made a blatant lying statement and about me that just simply was not true. And I was so angry at that person and kept saying they make me feel this way and they make me feel that. It's not true. They didn't hold a gun to my head and say, feel this way. I just did. So we can be reactive, or we can choose to instead not do that. And we can decide, well, this is how I feel. I'm going to take full responsibility for how I feel. When we take full responsibility for how we feel, then we can take the power out of that too. Take a little air out of those tires, not make it quite so volatile, and just say, you know what, this is how I'm feeling. Why am I feeling like this? Then there's a lot of questions that we can ask ourselves, and we can start to feel just a little bit better about the fact that, yeah, it is a little bit difficult. And yes, it is a little bit hard. And yes, some buttons were pushed here, but I do not need to choose these feelings. I can choose and say, well, you know what, that's on them. This is just the way they are. I'm just going to let that go. Boy, there's a lot of power in that. Number 8, this is so incredibly important. They've stopped the put downs on themselves and on others. Unnecessary. So unnecessary. Why do we do that? That is full on. Every time I think about the negative stuff that I've done in my life, or that I have, like if I knee jerk into something and do something, and I think about that negative stuff, I think about the amount of energy that costs me, that could be spent on something that's an investment on myself, instead of just, a bunch of nothing for nothing, because you don't get back from that kind of negativity. So no need to put anyone down. No need to put yourself down. Just say, maybe I'm learning. Maybe I need to learn something new. Maybe this is an opportunity. I played pickleball today for, Mark has another racket club that we play in. And I will tell you, I kept putting myself down and kept getting in my head about how well I played. And these guys are all really good players, and I'm probably the weakest link there, but I'm also the newest one too. But when I got out of my head and stopped with the put downs of myself and just said, play your best game, Leanne, just do the best that you can, I started playing a whole lot better. And this is that whole point right here. We don't need, put downs don't do anything for anyone. It just disrupts the energy field, if you will. And it puts that energy into some negative stuff instead of bringing it back in. So keep that in mind. Number 9, they used to believe they were the only ones being targeted. Have you ever felt like that? Or why me? Well, why not you? And here's the thing. We can get out of this why me stuff and start saying things like, well, why not me? And you know what? I'm not going to give that a whole lot of energy. I'm not going to give that a whole lot of power. I'm not going to give that a whole lot of headspace. Because don't let anybody live in your head rent-free, for heaven's sakes. I mean, what's the point of that? It's really boring, and it's a lot. So no. One of the things that we can do in order to, get away from some of this is also to remember the kindness of the word no. No is a complete sentence. And oftentimes what happens is people will say, well, I'm the only one who will do it. Well, if you say no, I guarantee somebody else will finally step up and say yes. So don't be the only one, and stop saying why me, because that's just it. What it does is just compromises your what could be your vibrant energy. Period. Number 10, they've stopped the yeah buts. Man, you know what, I say that a lot because I am the queen of yeah buts. I can wiggle my way out of anything and just say, well, you're just not there. You just don't see it. Yeah, but yeah, buts are finding excuses to hold on to thoughts that no longer serve you. That's it. That's it. And think about what that does. Think about that, how disruptive that is, and how that leads you down to just basically negative thinking, a negative path, no productivity there at all, no high energy. The vibe is low. Okay, you've put yourself in a corner, go stay there, is what yeah butting does. So keep that in mind. When you hear yourself go yeah but, think, am I unteachable right now? Is this what's happening? Because there's a lot of folks out there that are unteachable, unfortunately. And number 11 is a great one because it's complaining. Wise women look for gratitude in everything. Wise women recognize that complaining is going to shrink the prefrontal cortex. It does. It actually shrinks the hippocampus in your brain. I don't know about you. I need every brain cell I can possibly muster. And having it shrink down, no thank you. I don't need that. And I also don't need to be living in a place of ingratitude, because ingratitude is part of that whole negative sphere. A while back, if you get the Saving Dinner newsletter, you can get that at savingdinner.com. And again, the show notes will be there in the morning for you if you get it. In there, though, we had maybe a week ago or so, but we had a whole low vibe, high vibe thing of different emotions and how they just, the scale of up and down. And it's just this bitterness and anger and ingratitude all on the bottom, all low vibe. I mean, they can actually measure this stuff. So yes, Rebecca is asking if glutamine helps with dopamine. Yes, ma'am, it does. It helps you create dopamine. That's one of the reasons why it gets rid of cravings. I just love my L-glutamine big time. So that's everything. Those are 11 points that wise women take to the bank every single day, reminding themselves of who they are, powerful creators in their own lives, powerful creators in their own lives. And you can be this at any time. It is all about choice. It's all about selecting and using the emotions that are brought to you and deciding, it's a buffet table, y'all. You don't have, just because an emotion comes, it doesn't mean that you need to express it. It doesn't even mean that you need to really, if you need to feel it, right? It doesn't. This is what it means. It means that as those emotions come, you get to be selective about that. You don't have to jump to it. You don't have to express every single cotton picking thing that comes your way. You can just say, that's enough of that. That doesn't serve. What I want is this instead. Pickies up indeed, Nancy. Hi, Chris. I'm glad you're here, Andrea. That's all we need to remember, that this kind of mindfulness is what wise women use on the regular. And every single day that you get up, feel empowered. Every single day that you get up, show me how great this day can be. Every single day that you get up, you can start saying things like, life is always working out on my behalf. Believe it and look for the evidence to support that, because it's there. It is there. And likewise, if you say this is just the world's worst fill in the blank and nothing goes my way, I am cursed, I'm living a bad life, this is just awful, you will get that too. That's why I'm saying this. Step into the life that you want. Express the words of the life that you want and get rid of this disempowering stuff. It's never going to serve you. It's never going to help. Never. This will. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm so glad you're here, Jeanette. I'm glad you're here. And Andrea, thank you. I appreciate you. And chromium and magnesium, yes, all the way. Chromium does help. It also is super helpful for blood sugar. It's also, and magnesium, 85% of the population has a deficiency in magnesium, and it will make all the difference in the world. It's not just one thing, just with nutrition and with living your best life either. It's usually a lot of things. So if we are going to get rid of some of the garbage thinking, we've got to replace it with some of this strong thinking. And if you've got the newsletter that has the whole spectrum of all the emotions, maybe we can get that in there this time again. Take a look at that and decide, this is where I'm going to live. Because when you live in that place, that is when your life starts to blossom and you live your life in full bloom. That's vibrant. That is vibrant. What do you think? Who's going to do it with me? Give me some pinkies up if that's you. I hope so. And I hope to see you tomorrow for Thirsty Thursday. And then, of course, we have the rest of the week off. Don't forget about our specials of the week. We have savingdinner.com/show. That's where you're going to find that big, huge holiday bundle with everything you can possibly imagine for just $27. And don't forget as well, free Christmas menus, recipes, menus, shopping list, troubleshooting, decorating guide, the whole 9 yards. It's there at savingdinner.com/Christmas. If there's anything else you need, you can always reach out to me at support@savingdinner.com. I'm there for you. Peace be with you. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.